What was making the life of people in Galilee so immensely gloomy? What was making it a region of the shadow of death? Well, Roman occupation. Okay, so just imagine every day, say you're in Nazareth, right? Like Jesus grew up in. You look down the valley and what do you see? You see farmland, beautiful farmland. It's still beautiful farmland. Your family used to own a plot down there that was enough for you and your family to survive. The Romans had taken it from you. You walked down the street and what did you see? You saw centurions. You saw Roman soldiers who could, because you were not a Roman citizen, basically do anything they wanted to you, your children, and this is very important, I'm gonna say it this way, your daughters. You went to the marketplace and you were like trying to figure out if you could get in good with the manager who was working on behalf of the Romans who owned the land that you used to own, so you could go down and get enough money for a day's needs. And if you didn't properly tell them how awesome they were, you might not get food for your family. And then you looked up the hill and you saw a new Roman city being put in with all kinds of fancy architecture, mosaics in the streets, and maybe even Joseph worked up there, building that city for the Romans. And you saw that your life and your people were slowly being erased. And if you fought against the empire, what happened to you? Well, it may be the local Roman soldiers, some of whom may not have been Romans, some of whom may have been Jewish because they had to get into the army so they could feed their family. They had to become tax collectors so they could feed their family. And so now you've got a divided community looking at each other like you're a bunch of traitors. But if you got too, and I'm going to use this word, this is a terrible word, uppity, they might make an example of you, and what would they do to people who had become kind of public, in pushing back on what the empire wanted to do? What do you think they did to those people? They crucified them. And I will say this over and over again, they crucified like somewhere between 10,000 and 20,000 a year. Okay, what is that? That's state-sponsored terror.